EA is a name that strikes fear into the wallet of gamers everywhere. I still remember all those years ago when they were voted I think it was the most hated company in America, or it might have just been point blank worst company in America. Which, there are no saints over there at the EA office, but I definitely think there are worse companies, but it just goes to show you the pure disdain people have for EA and their practices. They have not been well liked for a very long time. But you know who does like them? The Saudi Arabian government. They like them so much that they are buying EA for $55 billion. Now, it's not just the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund that's buying them all on their own outright. They've actually got a whole Royal Rumble going halvesies with them, so they've got fucking superstars like Silver Lake and Jared Kushner's affinity partners doing this deal with them. So they've got like the superstars of slime here that are forking up 55 billion clams to own EA. EA was a publicly traded company, but obviously with this will no longer be. They're taking it private. Now there is one other name here that's very important to this deal. JP Morgan. Because you see, Starman fam, $20 billion of debt is being committed by JP Morgan for this deal, $18 billion of which is expected to be funded at close. Now, what does this mean for you, someone who might just be excited for Battlefield coming out? Well, 20 billion is a big number. If you converted that to pounds, it's nearly as heavy as your mother, bitch. Point is, $20 billion is what EA is now responsible to pay back. It's debt. And what are the ways that you can look to try and squeeze some more juice from the lemons here? More microtransactions, something EA is very famous for. Another strategy EA might employ is layoffs. Again, something they're not a stranger to. And I predict, as well as I've seen other people also make this prediction, I'm not fucking Baba Vanga over here with some kind of galaxy brain speculative theory. I would imagine they're going to start closing studios like BioWare. I think BioWare is going to be their big one. Their games have not been performing well financially for EA for a while. Anthem, into Dragon Age, the Veilguard, they're not crushing it in their sales numbers, and they're a very expensive component of EA. Maybe not in like the grand scheme of like billions of dollars, but that still is a sizable chunk of change, and I think they're going to be checking under every single cushion on the sofa, looking for any way of finding more money to pay back this debt. I would imagine there's going to be even more excessive microtransactions, just desperately trying to claw into your wallet to get you to spend money in their games, and I think there's going to be layoffs and studio closures. Again, EA is very famous for gutting studios, so I think that now with this 20 billion debt on the plate, they're going to be even more aggressive. That's what I expect, and I've seen a lot of other people also have that same idea in their head. It just feels like that's probably the direction EA will go. And I also saw it being reported by a lot of outlets that apparently the new EA owners are hopeful that AI will be their saving grace here for cutting cost and boosting profits. Which, again, AI, the entire purpose right now is just for the sake of saving money on the bottom line by replacing workers. So you don't have to pay salary to people. You can just have AI spit shit out. According to a report that is paywalled, so again, I'm getting this secondhand from all the other reports reporting on that one. But apparently it was stated that AI would be used to boost EA's profits in the coming years and to manage a large debt load on a company that historically carried limited net debt. Now, I've yapped about this strategy endlessly, and it's clearly not exclusive to EA. Every company on the planet right now is scrambling to try and get the fucking AI in a titty twister so they can utilize it to save money. And there's going to be plenty of other gaming companies that will follow suit. Even with EA, even if EA wasn't being purchased for $55 billion with $20 billion in debt, they would still 100% be trying to use AI to save money. I'm sure it's already happening across the entire industry right now. In fact, I've got a little tinfoil hat conspiracy theory that Ubisoft CEO is actually just AI. I don't think there's a single human being left in that food chain there at the upper echelon, because there is no way a sentient, living, breathing organism could have come up with ideas as stupid as Ubisoft has. But in this case, Again, it's not exclusive to EA. They're just being a little more open about it, I guess, about how they're going to utilize AI to cut these costs. Now let's talk about the new owners of EA. One of them being the Saudi Arabian government. Now, if you've been paying attention to the state of tech or even the state of sports or esports, you probably know the Saudi Arabian government's been getting its fingers in a lot of different pies here. They've been exploring tons and tons of different companies and brands to own. And it's been going on for a few years now, a handful of years now, and I don't think it's going to slow down or stop anytime soon. In fact, quite the opposite. I'm confident Saudi Arabian government will continue to snatch up tons of major brands and companies across the globe. And if you don't mind, I'd like to go on a bit of a side tangent here. I'd like to blabber a bit. Esports. Many of you know I've been in the esports space for 5 years now. Started with Moist Esports, now Shopify Rebellion. So, as an owner of an esports team, I can tell you firsthand, Saudi Arabian government wants to basically own the entire fucking industry there. And they're already getting very close with things like the Esports World Cup. Most recently, EVO, where they're the majority owner of EVO. They have infinite money. So in a scene like esports, which money is a myth, there is, as I've said numerous times, there is no money to be made in esports. It is just an absolute endless pit of agony when it comes to financials. Me, it's fine bleeding money there because I'm doing it under the idea that I'm going to lose this money, but I'm investing in it because what I get out of it is fun. I love the spirit of competition. I love esports. It's why I had Moist Esports, and it's why I now have Shopify Rebellion, so I could expand the esports space and have more things to watch and support more players. I love it. But any business that wants to get into esports hates it because you just lose money. And the Saudi Arabian government obviously noticed that, so what they did is they put the chemical X into the sector, money. They've given tons and tons of teams tons and tons of money to support things like the EWC and to own things in the esports space because, well, without them they're not making money, so they feel they absolutely have to play ball. I, of course, have seen this firsthand, but have declined all of that mumbo-jumbo. I haven't been shy about it. I've told you straight up numerous times, I don't watch the EWC. I don't support it at all. I don't watch it in private. Nothing. I think that shit sucks. I'm sure I don't need to tell you, but the Saudi Arabian government's got a whole host of issues, human rights violations out the wazoo. I'm sure I don't need to go into a ton of detail into the nitty-gritty. And honestly, just the whole idea of a government deciding that it wants to get its grubby paws around an entire industry and own the entire sector outright, that's fucking terrible no matter what. So yeah, I don't like this at all. I hate what's happening in the esports space where every organization, every game, every brand basically has to suckle the teat of Saudi Arabia in some way, shape, or form. I don't like the direction. Now, of course, I understand why it's got to that point because there is just no money there, but it doesn't change the fact that I don't like it. Now, we have had players on our teams participate in like the EWC because, as I've always said, we don't take player winnings, so them winning doesn't bring money back to us or anything, and I'm not going to get in the way of any of our players going and making their own decisions on how they want to like make a bag or something. That is entirely up to them, all power to them, and there's no ill will there at all. But they've not represented Moist Esports at the EWC or anything like that. I know this is a long-winded tangent, but the point is, the Saudi Arabian government is doing this not only in just like EA or esports, but all across this whole spectrum of technology and entertainment. In fact, just look up things that the Saudi Arabian government, like the PIF, has like percentages of. It's a lot. It's a ton of things, and many other video game companies, by the way. This is just their biggest buyout. This is huge. $55 billion for EA is big. And I do think there will be some noticeable changes to a lot of EA games and property. I think we're going to be in an era of even greedier EA garbage, if such a thing is even fathomable. So yeah, overall, I don't think this is going to be like an improvement to EA games or anything like that. I don't think consumers are going to walk away from this kind of deal with a big W for the quality of games we're going to start receiving here. I guess I'm willing to be proven wrong, but I highly fucking doubt that. I think it's going to be net negative changes across the board for EA games going forward. But one other thing I want to briefly mention, I've seen some people talking about EA in this story as if they're like some kind of defenseless victim or something. Like, oh no, the Saudi Arabian government, they got EA in its clutches and there was nothing EA could do. Motherfucker, they could have just said no. They didn't have to make the deal. Like, it's not like EA is the good guy of the story or anything here. Like, this is across the board just greed. Like, it's just absurd. Anyway, though, that's really about it. So, yep. Ask any gamer who the ultimate evil is, the boogeyman hiding under their bed, poisoning their water supply and making their dick smaller. All gamers will say the same thing. Electronic Arts. EA Games. It's in your ass. EA Games is known for two things, murdering beloved game studios and loot boxes, and recently they were called into court to defend loot boxes, the ethical nature of them, because it's kind of illegal to get children hooked on gambling, and that's exactly what loot boxes are, a form of gambling that children can partake in. So EA sent an almost human android to the meeting date to discuss the ethical nature of it, and the results may shock you. Number 7 will leave your jaw on the floor.
Do you consider loot boxes to be an ethical feature of your games?
Introducing the gamer's champion, directly confronting the EA menace, asking them the hard-hitting questions right to their face, and even he can't help but giggle at the answers she gives.
Kerry?
Well, first, we don't call them loot boxes. I think that was
whatever term you wish to apply to them. Do you consider them ethical?
So what we look at as surprise mechanics. But I think it's important to look at this. So,
introducing the champion of the reptilians that work at Electronic Arts. They're trying to peddle loot boxes as surprise mechanics. It's their rebranding attempt because loot boxes now have negative connotation. It's not too dissimilar from the energy department rebranding fossil fuel as molecules of freedom and freedom gas. Anyone's gonna laugh at that. It's fucking silly. It's honestly starting to sound like some dystopian future shit here in terms of its silliness, like North Korea propaganda levels of garbage, you know. Kim Jong-un doesn't fart, he just passes winds of peace. These aren't loot boxes, they're just surprise mechanics.
If you go to a, I don't know what your version of Target is, but a store that sells a lot of toys, and you do a search for surprise toys, what you'll find is that this is something people enjoy. They enjoy surprises.
She's not wrong. People do enjoy surprises, as long as that surprise isn't just taking money out of their wallet. Surprise, you've been robbed, which is kind of EA's slogan.
And so it's something that's been part of toys for years, whether it's Kinder Eggs or Hatchimals or LOL Surprise.
So the robot lady tries to compare EA's disgusting loot box system with pre-established surprise toys that children have been getting for years, such as Kinder Eggs, and it's not really a good comparison. It doesn't really work, and I think anyone with a high-level intellect that watches Rick and Morty regularly can discern the obvious differences. With a Kinder Egg, you're not paying an upfront charge. You are buying the Kinder Egg, and granted, you're not buying the Kinder Egg for the shit-ass chocolate that surrounds the toy. You might as well just eat dirt or fucking chow down on cow vomit. It tastes about the same as the Kinder Egg chocolate. You're buying it for the surprise. But that Kinder Egg is about $2. There's no upfront charge. You don't have to buy something previously before getting to that surprise. With an EA game, you're buying a $60 retail game, and then you're buying your Kinder Eggs that come with surprises that are completely fucking random, where you could get genuinely nothing for it. So it's not exactly the same. A more appropriate comparison would have been buying a set of Kinects or Legos. Let's say you buy the Star Wars Kinect set that has the Millennium ass beater on there, and you want to make that. So you bought that set. Well, you paid for that set, but you got a randomized set of ingredients that can't complete that set. You didn't get the necessary parts for it, so now you need to keep buying micro sets to try and complete that set initially. You see what I'm saying? You're not getting all the parts to what you paid for. And thus you have to keep buying the parts to keep chipping away at finally being able to complete the set you initially paid full retail for. That's a more appropriate comparison, in my opinion, because you're paying a full retail game, and then you're getting little bits and pieces locked behind microtransactions. It's not just cosmetic anymore. With EA games, you're getting actual progression locked behind microtransactions. Thus, you have to keep paying for it over and over again until you can finally get the complete game or make a competitive team in FIFA.
We do think the way that we have implemented these kind of mechanics, and FIFA, of course, is our big one, our FIFA Ultimate Team and our packs, is actually quite ethical and quite fun, enjoyable to people.
Well, yes, I do say, my good sir, it is actually quite ethical and quite fun, if we EA do say so ourselves. Nothing will make people believe something is unethical and unfun quite like telling them it is fun and ethical. If you have to tell someone that it's ethical and fun, it's most certainly neither of those things. I can 100% promise you no one is having fun opening microtransaction boxes and not getting the rare shit. And most of the time you're not getting the rare shit, you're just getting the same duplicate common shit over and over again. I want you to find me one lunatic that's not thrown in Arkham Asylum that says, yeah, I really enjoy just getting Pot of Greed in every Yu-Gi-Oh card pack I open. What they want is the rare cards, the rare shit in the microtransaction box. That's when it's fun because they finally got what they wanted, which was locked behind thousands of dollars worth of microtransactions and going through the chore of getting duplicates and getting fucked in the ass and slapped in the face and spit on by EA because the roll rate on their shit is so low that they have to keep spending money on it before they get something they actually want.
We agree with the UK Gambling Commission, the Australian Gambling Commission, and many other gambling commissions that they aren't gambling. And we also disagree that there's evidence that shows it leads to gambling. Instead, we think it's like many other products that people enjoy in a very healthy way, and like the element of surprise.
God, you gotta love that argument right there. We disagree with the evidence that says it's bad. Oh, you disagree with it? Oh, okay, then yeah, that's fine. That makes you right. That means the evidence is wrong because you disagree with it. That's some flat earth logic shit right there. That's exactly what they do. They disagree with the evidence that proves the earth is a globe, so they're going off their own fucking insane beliefs. Yeah, we disagree. Alright, that doesn't make you right. It just means you're a fucking idiot and that you're disagreeing with something to promote your own agenda. It's a non-argument that's really fucking dumb. This whole surprise mechanic shit is absolutely silly. It's so easy to ridicule that statement. You know, a man goes and flashes his penis in a park. Hey, officer, it's not a crime, it's just a surprise penis. People love penis, people love surprises. You do the math.
Okay, so just to be absolutely clear, your loot boxes or surprise mechanics, you have no ethical qualms whatsoever with.
So I think you're recharacterizing my language. What I said is I think the way we've implemented our FIFA Ultimate Team packs is ethical.
Okay, other than FIFA?
Dude's just flopping his cock on the desk, just asking her point blank. I like that he's not mixing words, he's just like, do you think they're ethical? And for some reason she breaks down and says he's recharacterizing her language. His question was quite literally, you think they're ethical, right? And she's just starting to sweat and fucking squirm in her chair. And, oh, well, you're recharacterizing what I said. I said FIFA packs are dope as shit and you should buy some. I don't understand. She could have just said, yeah, they're ethical if she truly believed that. But even she knows, even her programming knows, that it is not ethical. It is getting kids and already susceptible people hooked on gambling. That's exactly what the loot boxes monetization system is all about, getting people coming back to keep spending money on a game that they've already paid for, full retail price, so that way they can keep making money off of it.
In other games that you provide, are you equally comfortable and relaxed about
For
it?
all of the games we have on the market that have a randomized content mechanic, a surprise mechanic, a loot box, I have no qualms that they are implemented in an unethical way.
We got her. She just sank her own battleship there. She has no qualms that they're implemented in an unethical way. So they're unethical, and you're okay with that, is basically what that statement says. I think you fucked up your words there, but I'm going to take that as a confession that EA knows they're unethical, because, I mean, obviously, they have to know. Even the soulless suits at EA have to laugh to themselves like, haha, we're extorting these people for money. How dumb are these consumers? Why are they still buying FIFA? Haha, we're releasing the same game and still monetizing it like fucking assholes. But it's working, so whatever. Really silly shit, and I think everyone can easily make fun of EA and their whole surprise mechanic thing they've tried to pull here. So I just wanted to kind of pile on and shit on EA and make fun of their surprise mechanic thing here. That's about it. So yeah. EA Games. It's in your wallet. Nobody likes EA except for investors. Me going into detail about why EA is a shitty company has been done a million times before and not really worth the effort. However, with this recent controversy in their newest game, Star Wars Battlefront 2, there is a few things I would like to talk about here. Playing an EA game and putting up with the microtransaction bullshit, which is beyond intrusive, is just painful. It's fucking miserable. It's like getting a urethral swab of sandpaper. And in Star Wars Battlefront fucking your wallet too, it's the absolute worst system. You have to spend money on getting your loot boxes in order to progress in the game and even stand a chance against other players who do spend money. This guy on Reddit really started the whole controversy, which is erupting now, with this right here, where he proves it takes approximately 40 hours to unlock one hero in the game, and you can't unlock anything else. You have to save up your credits for 40 hours to afford one of the heroes here. And that's just absolutely ridiculous. Even the most elite of gamer samurai gurus will at least have to spend a week of constant playtime to unlock one of the heroes without spending money. And EA knows that number is way, way, way too high, but the point is, it gives people an incentive to spend the money to get the heroes, because no one's going to want to spend 40 hours to start unlocking things. No one's going to put that kind of time in there. But they would very gently toy around with the nipples of dropping $20 on getting a few loot boxes to speed it up and hopefully even get a hero out of it. And that's the whole idea behind the system. If you can get a player who just spent $60 or $80 on the game, have them drop another $20, then damn, you're doing some great shit there from a marketing perspective. But at the cost of losing some goodwill with the consumers, which Electronic Sharts already has none of. They're about as well liked as sleeping on a bed of broken glass. But EA's smart enough to know that it doesn't matter, because they hold some incredibly large titles hostage, like Star Wars Battlefront. People are not going to boycott Star Wars Battlefront. It's going to sell incredibly well no matter what. All of Reddit's up in arms. We're boycotting it. We're not going to touch the game. Let's vote with our wallets. And don't get me wrong, they've definitely got the right idea. The only way EA would change their business practices is if people stop buying their products. But Reddit's not going to do that. They can't resist the carrot that's dangling in front of their face, the fucking fleshlight on a string that they just need to fuck. So they're going to buy the newest title, and it happens every time. For the last 6 years, they've been saying, let's boycott EA games. We're not going to touch them. We're going to stay pure. And then within 24 hours, the entire R-Gaming subreddit is nothing but the latest EA title content. And even if all of Reddit did boycott the EA games like they say they're going to do, it wouldn't make a difference to EA, because the general population doesn't go on Reddit and follow along with the drama and the up-in-arms controversies. They just go buy the games and they have fun. They might spend some money. That's what EA really caters to. They don't give a shit about negative publicity or how they look in the Reddit's eye. They don't really give too much of a fuck. What matters to them is the profits they can make, and they're going to stand to make a lot of profits here. So I'm going to look into my crystal ball of ass and predict that this game's going to sell incredibly well. Reddit's not going to boycott it, and EA's practices are only going to get even worse than the Star Wars Battlefront 2 microtransaction bullshit here. Because right now, all of the loot boxes, all of the micro-penis actions are being shown to work and make a lot more money than regular games without microtransactions. So why would they stop? It makes no sense from a business standpoint. They can make far more money by implementing systems like Star Wars Battlefront 2 is doing. Now, after this whole 40 hours needed to unlock a single hero thing broke, EA actually responded with perhaps the single worst PR statement I have ever read in my life, and it has become one of Reddit's most downvoted comments in its entire history, which is nothing shy of impressive, so give yourself a round of applause, EA. It reads, "The intent is to provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment for unlocking different heroes." Yeah, that sounds about right. The first thing I'd feel is immense pride and accomplishment after mindlessly fingering my butthole in a mediocre video game for 40 hours to unlock one character. Or perhaps they're referring to the sense of pride and accomplishment after wasting more money on the mediocre video game after purchasing it. Man, nothing screams pride and accomplishment like buying your way to the top of the leaderboard in a video game. This poor Cro-Magnon continues, "As for cost, we selected initial values based upon data from the open beta and other adjustments," no you didn't, "made to milestone rewards before launch. Among other things, we're looking at average per player credit earned rates on a daily basis, and we'll be making constant adjustments to ensure that players have challenges that are compelling, rewarding, and of course attainable via gameplay." That is not at all what you're trying to do here. You're trying to make it so impossible to attain anything via gameplay that you have to buy them. The only challenge you've implemented here is the astoundingly high number of credits it takes to unlock shit. That's not a compelling challenge. It's also not attainable. It's about as compelling and attainable as somebody issuing a challenge to me to grow 5 inches in a week. To finish it off, this PR troglodyte finishes it with, "We appreciate the candid feedback." I'm sure you appreciate this candid feedback, as you call it, and the passion the community has put forth around the current topics here on Reddit, our forums, and across numerous social media outlets. Our team will continue to make changes and monitor community feedback and update everyone as soon and as often as we can. Absolute bullshit. There's really nothing to even talk about there. But I have no doubt EA will tone down the amount of credits it takes to unlock things. a couple months after release. They'll go ahead and spin it as, we're listening to you and we're looking out for the little guys out there that don't have a huge disposable income, so we're lowering the credits. Yahoo. And then they, play both sides of the field. They make a lot of money in the initial launch for the whales that want to spend the money, and then down the line they'll go ahead and lower it down for us plebeians out here who don't want to spend on microtransactions. Now, as is common with gamers these days, they're very hostile people, and they were, of course, per usual, sending death threats and making all types of strongly worded comments to the devs and shit. Some John Wick level shit. Oh, I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna fuck you up real good, pal. You've really messed with the wrong CIA super soldier who retired recently and loved video games until you've done this. Now I'm coming for you. And so this guy, I don't know who he is, but I know he's a developer on Battlefront 2, posts this. Oh, you're keeping track of them for legal reasons, huh? No, you're not, Sean. You absolutely are not. You're not going to do anything legally. You can't do anything legally. What are you going to do, imprison over 1,600 people? That'd make that scene in The Dark Knight where Harvey Dent gets half of Gotham's criminals behind bars look like child's play. You would be one hell of a fucking force to be reckoned with if you could do that, Sean, but you can't. So please, devs out there, stop tallying up your death threats and personal attack emails and pretend like you're going to take legal action, because you're not and you can't. This happens every time a game implements an unpopular feature with the community. Gamers are very entitled and childish people for the most part. I don't want to say the entire gaming community is, but let's be honest, for the most part they are, because every time something negative in a game gets implemented, this same shit happens. These children send death threats. Let's make our voices be heard. Let them know that we're not satisfied. Let's try and ruin their lives. That'll show them. And it's disgusting. It's fucking pathetic. Those kind of people are very sad people, and it's almost even sadder that the community kind of looks at them as heroes. Oh, you sent a death threat? You threatened to kill and eat his dog? Oh, nice. I'll go ahead and send one of my own. This time I'll threaten to burn down his house and then pee on his burned ashes. That'll be good. Let's see them try and implement another unpopular feature I don't like. They won't want to mess with me again after this email. It's just pathetic. Absolutely fucking pathetic. And it doesn't solve anything. If anything, it might even exacerbate the problem. Oh, these gamers fucking suck. They're assholes. Let's go ahead and keep fucking their wallets real good because we know they have no impulse control and they're going to keep buying our games. Let's really make this one slap them on the fucking cockhole. I'd normally feel bad and speak up against this anti-consumer feature we're about to implement in Star Wars Battlefront 3. But after the emails I got last year, no, fuck them. They deserve no sympathy. They're horrible people. Go ahead, Harold. I'm greenlighting this feature. Let's really fuck them good. I just don't see the point, and I don't think I'll ever understand the outrage culture in the gaming community these days. But yeah, I mean, this is basically the EA controversy in a nutshell. I just wanted to get it all out there and talk about it, because it's really fucking frustrating. And yeah, that's it. See ya. I make a lot of predictions. 9 times out of 10, they're wrong. Not proud of that. Wish I was better at it, but, I'm no Baba Vanga. Because if I was, I'd have every prediction be wrong. So I'll take the occasional victory. And one thing that I predicted and have been proven right about time and time again over the years is that once you reach a certain level of status in any given industry, it is impossible to fail. You only fail upwards. Not exactly a prediction, more so just a hard truth where once you're an elite member of an industry, you can't get knocked down at all. It's impossible. It's like fucking Derek Zoolander, but instead of being unable to turn left, you're unable to go down. You're unable to look downwards. You can only continue to fail going up the ladder. It's incomprehensible. It is a phenomenon that defies all logic. Why would someone who is bad at their job, a terrible leader that leads companies into financial ruin, just draining them of ham, constantly just hemorrhaging money, bleeding out, why would that person continue to land new jobs in equal or higher power than their previous one? Anyone else who is bad at their job gets fired. They get let go. But not when you become a CEO, a COO, or anything to that level. You just go to another company as a COO or a CEO. The perfect textbook example of this is still John Riccitiello. He was the CEO of EA for a little while. He rose to infamy when he pitched this absolute fucking heater of an idea. I'm talking galaxy brain 5D chess move, where he pitched the idea of charging gamers for ammo. So if you ran out of ammo in a Battlefield game, there'd be a pop-up that would say you need to pay $1 for your next magazine. That was his idea. Like, I don't think he was ever fully going to go through with that, but that was the example he gave on how you can constantly be like milking the titty of everyone who buys an EA product. He was too greedy for even EA, so he was let go and then landed a job at Unity. He became CEO of Unity, and I know you remember how disastrous that was, because he nearly drove that company into the fucking ground. He nearly banished it to the Shadow Realm with how horrible his leadership was there. And there's plenty of examples of this. I still think he's the best, but why I'm talking about it today is because Disney just announced that it's looking at candidates for the CEO position since Bob is leaving again, and one of the people they're considering is the EA CEO, Andrew. They're looking at Andrew at EA. What in tarnation? Why on God's green earth would you be putting your peepers on Andrew Goober Wilson for the CEO position of Disney? EA has been one of the most consistently hated companies in the world for over a decade now. If Umbrella Corporation was a real entity, it would probably have a better reputation than EA currently does. It is a company that no one likes, except for shareholders. So Andrew Wilson has done a good job at EA for shareholders and nobody else. And you know what Disney really needs right now? Is a good reputation with anyone that's not a fucking shareholder, because people are getting really tired of what Disney's been shitting out. They have been pooping out slop, and a lot of people are tired of the stink. They're tired of smelling the shit. So Disney, I don't think, is needing an Andrew Wilson, cartoon villain here that's going to... Andrew Wilson, the reason why I said he's good for shareholders is because the EA price under him has raised pretty significantly. But I feel like Disney right now, what they really need is some slam dunks in products and properties that people really start to like again, because they are missing that entirely. Star Wars, for example. Holy Lord, what a fart in the wind. Most people don't care about Star Wars at all anymore. Most people roll their eyes when it comes to Star Wars. Like, look at Outlaws. That was an open world Star Wars game. Of course, it did have Ubisoft on there, so it was already doomed for mediocrity out the gate. But nobody was hyped for Star Wars Outlaws. Like, there was a time when Star Wars was a guaranteed home run. Now, most of them are flopping. At least from what I can tell, like the Acolyte, that was what, $230 million budget, and it raked in, according to the most recent financial reports that I can find online, $46 million. So it lost like a total of $180 million. Like, come on, let's put on our thinking caps right now. It's not an issue of, oh my God, we need to start figuring out ways to nickel and dime the remaining customers we have. The solution is, how do we start making quality products again that people actually want to watch or purchase or get engaged in? Like, grow up. Like, God, Jesus. Andrew Wilson is not the solution to that problem. Andrew Wilson is not the one that people are going to be like excited for at the helm of Disney. People don't like him because people don't like EA. Now, to give credit where credit is due, I vaguely recall Andrew Wilson pushing back against some investor-led horrible ideas in a bad direction for some of the titles over the last decade or so. I'm foggy on the details, but I do remember reading about it a while back that he did actually make some decisions that I think it was something about like allowing the developers a little more creative freedom under the EA umbrella. Again, I don't remember all the details, but it's not like he's been nothing but mustache twirling evilness. But first and foremost, Andrew Wilson's priority is not good games. Never has been. It's been figuring out the live service model, because I believe it's 71% of EA revenue comes from live service games. So it's always been trying to figure out the way to maximally monetize every single person who sits down to play an EA game. And there have been some good games that have come out over the years, and even live service games like Apex Legends from them. But overall, and Apex Legends is unfortunately getting run into the ground in recent times, but overall, Andrew Wilson is not a CEO that I think anyone thinks of and looks at as someone who actually cares about delivering quality products. It's about delivering big returns to the investors first and foremost, and that's about it. And I feel like in Disney's current state, they need someone that actually wants to start pushing them forward into good shit again, instead of just the same recycled formulaic garbage that they've been doing for the last, I don't know how many years, but they've just been on autopilot for a little while, going through the motions, and now it seems like, it's getting to that point where something's got to give. Like, they've got to start changing something, and they're looking at someone like Andrew Wilson to maybe be the leadership to do it. I don't think he is. I really don't. And in all fairness, this isn't really an example of someone failing upwards. I mean, he definitely failed in making EA a company that anybody respects. Like, EA is constantly spit on. but he hasn't failed in a financial sense or failed to the same degree as other CEOs like John Riccitiello. So it's not failing upwards per se in this case, but it is still just weird to me how he'd even be considered for this position. Like, I don't understand why the pool of candidates is so small that you're always seeing the same names over and over again, even if they have a resume of stinkers. Another great example, and sticking on the Disney topic, is they have greenlit a new Star Wars trilogy, and they've already chosen who's going to be the writer and producer. It's someone named Simon Kinberg. And if that name rings any bells, it's because you probably still have trauma from his extraordinarily embarrassing pile of garbage that many consider to be one of the worst comic book movies ever made, Dark Phoenix, where he was the writer, producer, and director. Going through his entire catalog here, where he's only directed a couple of films, but he's been a writer and producer for a long time, it's more misses than hits. Like, XXX State of Union, I loved it when I was a kid. I don't know if it's aged well. But he also did X-Men 3, The Last Stand, another absolutely despised movie, but then there's something good in there with Jumper. There's the Sherlock Holmes movie, which some people liked, some people didn't. First Class, which was good. Then Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Oh my god, like, just look at this resume. Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four. Again, one of the comic book movies that people to date still believe is one of the worst ones. In fact, among like the top 5 worst comic book movies ever made, Fantastic Four and Dark Phoenix are on every single list. This is the Fantastic Four film from 2015 that had the number 4 in the name, not the like old one with Jessica Alba. And he was not only a writer and producer on both of them, but even directed one of them too. Like, his resume isn't very good. Like, the good movies that he's a part of, he's usually a producer on, not a writer-producer on. Was this really the best possible writer-producer they could find for a new trilogy of Star Wars films? I don't think so. I don't understand how someone that has a resume like that, with so many super stinkers like Dark Phoenix and Fantastic Four and a couple of others on there, get chosen to make something like this, the new Star Wars trilogy. Like, it's not like those movies that he'd written and produced were just received terribly by the audience. They were turbo box office bombs that lost the studios millions upon millions of dollars. Now, I do understand that he helped co-create Star Wars Rebels, which does have a positive reception from what I can tell. I've never watched Rebels, but I do know the name. But even still, if you look at his resume, I don't think this was necessarily the best possible choice to spearhead a new Star Wars trilogy operation. That doesn't really get me salivating thinking, oh, this could be like a good Star Wars new trilogy. Like, I just don't have that impression because I'm familiar with a lot of his work and most of it's trash. It just really seems like if you somehow break through to that level where you're a writer-producer on a Hollywood project, it doesn't matter what you do from that point forward because you will always still somehow be able to find work of equal or greater level. And I just don't get it. Because it's not like by merit or anything. It doesn't seem like, from what I can tell, Simon was the one that was like pitching Disney on this and they just really liked the direction, so they said, okay. It seems like it was Disney that chose Simon to write and produce for them. So, like, it's not like he did anything extraordinary, that he has a great idea and a great script and everything that Disney just had to buy. It just, I don't get it. I really don't understand how failing upwards is even a thing. And yeah, I just had to rant about this a little bit because I'm so tired of seeing like the same names that have been in the industries for so long and have done so many things wrong continue to get huge positions at companies going forward, because then there's nothing to be like excited about. Like, for the future of Disney, if they choose Andrew Wilson, it's not like I think there's going to be some kind of drastic change. I feel like it's just going to be business as usual, but emphasis on the business, where Andrew Wilson's going to be prioritizing like cutting jobs, reducing staff, and trying to maximize monetization on like Disney Plus and all of that. Not exactly an emphasis on, let's start making some really quality stuff. I could be wrong. I guess we'll find out if they go with Andrew Wilson, what direction he takes it. But it's someone whose work I am familiar with, and that is what he is known for. He is the shareholders' hero, but the gamer's pariah. Because nobody likes EA. It has a terrible reputation. So, again, he's not exactly an example of failing upwards per se, because he hasn't failed, but it does just, like, this whole topic is something I just wanted to speak on, because it is common for people that do fail at, like, a high level to continue to just keep getting more and more and more and more power and bigger positions. It's silly. So, yeah, that's really about it. See ya. As they say, you can't spell diarrhea without EA. And EA decided to throw their hat in the ring during this turmoil in the video game space, with so many major companies coming forward and all collectively doing their best Cybertron cosplay and just imploding on themselves with these ridiculous decisions with their games and how they want to manage those services. They're all just putting their ass in their asshole and looking like fools in doing so. Most recently Xbox, before them Sony, before them Escape from Tarkov. Like, it continues to happen. And I guess EA was feeling real lonely, just isolated on like the weird kids lunch table, like, hey, we haven't done anything super stupid in like a couple weeks. It's our turn. Check this out. And their CEO comes forward honking his nose and pulling ribbon from his mouth and says, hey, we can't wait to ramp up generative AI in our games. Thinking that somehow this was like a slam dunk, like this is a good thing. Proud about putting AI in their games, which will inevitably lead to the loss of many jobs there. It's something that people have been warning about for a long time, and it looks like we're starting to reach that point. And their CEO isn't even bother. He's not even giving a single iota of a fuck about trying to hide the fact that they are going hog wild into AI to start making their games. That is scary. And not only that, he wasn't satisfied with just that statement. He actually went to double tap our ass with another statement, this time about Battlefield, where he said that Battlefield is going to be another tremendous live service game. He is so disconnected from reality, he's using the worst two words you can ever use in gaming. These are cardinal sins. This is like using Voldemort's name. He's using AI proudly and live service proudly. Live service is almost like a slur in gaming at this point with how negative that connotation is. According to this article, Andrew Wilson is saying that this is the largest Battlefield team in franchise history, with DICE, Criterion, Ripple Effect, and now Motive all working on it. And he said that Battlefield 2042 players made it clear they wanted an even deeper experience, and that a few weeks ago I was visiting with the teams and I couldn't be more excited about what they showed and what we were able to play. I'm going to take a quick pause real quick. This is a picture of Andrew Wilson. Does this look like a guy who plays games? This looks like a fucking android from Detroit Become Human. This guy looks like a video game character, not like an actual person who plays the games. This is the biggest corpo suit I've ever seen. I know you didn't play Battlefield or anything like that. This is a bunch of hullabaloo nonsense. Anyway, back to the article. Later on in the earnings call, Wilson slightly expanded on this with an amusing encapsulation of what they were going for. I've just spent a whole bunch of time with the collective Battlefield team, playing with their building, and it is going to be another tremendous live service. Another? Where was the first one? You don't have a tremendous live service. Battlefield 2042 was a joke at launch, and it is still one of my more shameful moist meters because I was very generous with it, assuming that it was going to be fixed quickly. It didn't get fixed for a long time. I know it's in a much better state now, but that doesn't forgive the extremely long period of time where it was just fundamentally broken and barren. It was a fucking tragedy and a stain on the Battlefield legacy. You don't have a tremendous live service record to pull from here, Andrew. So I don't know why you're saying another as if you just can't stop making hits out here like the Beatles. It's ridiculous. It's a fucking ridiculous statement. And no one likes live service games right now because they are so bad most of the time with their monetization and also just how long it takes for anything to actually get added to them. The only live service game that's been crushing it in recent memory is Helldivers 2. But anyway, I won't fixate too much on this Andrew Wilson statement about Battlefield. Instead, I want to focus on the generative AI statement, because that one is extraordinarily alarming for the entire video game industry. He apparently wants it as quickly as possible, so it's coming. Brace yourself. And if you work in the industry, my heart is breaking for you. EA is not even being shy about it. Andrew Wilson thinks AI could be the holy grail for at least half of EA's development process. AKA, can't wait to start laying people off and saving money. Yeah, I think the second EA starts making all of their games have this huge AI integration in their development process and laying people off is the day that I will pirate every single EA game forever. Does EA honestly think people will support this? I think he is so disconnected from reality, Andrew Wilson probably thought that this was a major PR win. AI! Kids are gonna love that shit, it's so new!
oh my God, it's like when Joe Biden and Trump argue with each other on TikTok with AI. People love it. They're going to love it in our games.
So despite the games industry's mixed feelings about generative AI, EA CEO Andrew Wilson is anxious to apply it wherever he can. In a call with investors on Tuesday, Wilson said he's working to implement generative AI as quickly as possible throughout the development process. He thinks the technology could unlock EA's holy grail, which is to build bigger, more innovative, more creative, more fun games more quickly. And at half the cost, because you're getting rid of all of your actual workers on it. I mean, that's the big thing. I don't know why he's being coy about it. It's no secret that Wilson is a fan of artificial intelligence. In March, the executive bragged that EA was AI native, and that some of its games players' runs had already been augmented by AI. He added that because of how large today's games tend to be, AI could help expedite the game development process. Strangely, Wilson also rattled off an idea involving an EA AI platform which could see 3 billion players around the world creating personal content and expanding and enhancing the universes that EA creates. What in the fuck is that? What kind of lunacy? Can someone take my man off the crack pipe? Now they want us to develop the game? Fuck that. Isn't that a cool idea? We're gonna build an EA AI platform where players can build their own games that we can monetize. So then we don't even need to hire developers. We can just have the gamers do it for us. Genius! Andrew Wilson is in the laboratory concocting something quite foul. Fortnite approach? Kind of. The difference with the Fortnite approach, though, is that it's not AI. Like, it's still players building games. And Fortnite gives them a massive cut of the profits. They do a really good profit split with the Fortnite custom community. As far as everyday game development goes, Wilson thinks AI is nearly ready to positively impact at least 50% of EA's processes. That's based on an early assessment of EA's entire development pipeline, according to Wilson in his investor call comments on Tuesday. As we think about the first pillar of generative AI for us, we're really looking at how it can make us more efficient, how it can give our developers more power, how it can give them back more time and allow them to get to the fun more quickly. And we've got teams across the company really looking to execute that. That's not how it's going to be used, Andrew. Don't you ever lie to me again. I've said this before. I think AI can be a really good tool, especially in game development, for some of the grunt work that they just put people on for the sake of having them do something, but no one really likes doing it. So like random world NPCs coming up with just throwaway dialogue lines, you can just delegate that to an AI to just spit those out endlessly. Things like that, like actual tedium grunt work that they don't even really hire people for, they just put people from other positions on. I think if you just give that to AI, that's a positive use. But that is not how EA is going to use it. Not at all. That is not what they're going to use it for. Like I mentioned on stream, there is actual good usage for AI in game development if you give it as a tool to the developers themselves as opposed to replacing them with it, which I think is the long-term goal for companies like EA. I think a developer can use AI to help ease the burden of some of the more tedious processes, like I mentioned with like throwaway dialogue and NPCs, or lip syncing. So I didn't know this until Stream mentioned it, but apparently Final Fantasy VII Rebirth used AI to help with lip syncing. That is another positive use I can see for it, because at that point it is a tool being used by the developers to help in their art. It's not taking away any jobs, because it's not like they were going to bring on a lip-syncing specialist. It was going to still be the exact same team, with many of them just having to bite down and just fucking grit their teeth and just do the tedious lip-syncing chores. Whereas with AI, they can just give that grunt work to the AI. It doesn't take away any jobs, it doesn't step on any creative toes or anything at all. It is literally just being used by the creatives to help in their vision, and help them focus on the bigger things with their art. I think that is another good use of AI, but I don't see a company like EA using AI for these purposes. EA is a company that would be putting nicotine in your controllers if it was able to make you more hooked on their products and spend more in their games with their monetization models. They are not a company that is going to be using AI to just help their employees. It's going to be used to try and phase them out over time so they can save money on those salaries. 100%. That is the goal with it. They'll be able to churn out more games faster with less work behind them, like less salaried work behind them, and I think to them, that's the holy grail that Andrew Wilson is referring to. So it's just a really grim future for games once they start integrating AI into it, and EA isn't being shy at all. He is coming out and saying they can't wait to ramp up their AI. And that shit sucks. That is just classic EA garbage right there. And I just had to talk about this. It's another big video games industry misfire here. Like, I don't understand how so many of these companies keep doing this all so quickly back to back to back to back to back. I'm curious to see how many more are going to come forward and do something like this as well. That's really about it. So yeah. Escape from Tarkov? More like escape from the video games industry, because their new greedy decision is having them run out of town with people chasing them down with pitchforks and leaving their game in droves. Escape from Tarkov probably needs no introduction. It's a massively popular game, and they just pulled a huge blunder that is catastrophic for their company. They are releasing a new PvE game mode at a $250 price point. That is so many doubloons it makes me want to spit. For $250, I expect to download this new mode and then actually have the CEO of Battlestate Games come over and rim me out. That is stupid to be charging for DLC. But even aside from that delusional price point, it commits every unforgivable atrocity that could ever befall a video game. It breaks all the rules, commits every sin that not even the Lord can forgive. It is pay to win out the wazoo, and this is something they actually doubled down on today, which I'll cover soon. This is a story that's been developing over the last 24 plus hours, and it just keeps getting worse. It's like they're trying to find every possible electrical outlet to stick a fork in until it finally ruins the company. Like, they are so focused on burying their fist as far up their own ass as possible. So it's pay to win in the very literal sense of being pay to win, but the absolute worst part is that it broke a promise to their community who had bought into a previous edition they offered. It was misleading their entire community. So they offered something called the Edge of Darkness edition for $100 in the past. And one of the perks of buying that $100 Edge of Darkness edition is that you would have access to all subsequent DLC in the future for free. So $100 is a lot of money for a DLC, but it was kind of like an investment long-term into the game that they loved. So they paid that $100 under the impression that in the future, if more DLC content was coming, they'd have access to it without needing to pay more. But now, fast forward to the Unheard edition for $250, they are not allowing the Edge of Darkness buyers access to that DLC for free. They would still need to buy that. Now, initially, that was going to be it. You'd have to pay the extra $150, but with all of the backlash that understandably came from this, they decided to dip their toes into a compromise where they would offer the EOD buyers 6 months of access to the Unheard edition, so they get a fucking free trial, like a drug dealer giving them their first hit for free. It's laughably pathetic. I don't even think Mr. Krabs would pull some shit like this, because even he would recognize that this would ruin his business. This is incomprehensible greed. I learned about all of this last night on stream, so I'm going to play you all of those clips to get you caught up to speed on the lore and exactly what's been going on here and how bad it all is. And then I'm going to come in to give you the latest updates with what's been happening today, only a couple of hours ago, because it continues to get worse and worse for Escape from Tarkov somehow. Earlier today, the Unheard edition of Escape from Tarkov was announced as part of the latest patch, promising a brand new player versus environment mode and other bonuses. Yippee! Now that the edition has launched, fans are not happy with the bonus it gives and the massive $250 price tag. That is a big chunk of change that even has EA and Ubisoft doing this right now. So just this one DLC was $250? The first issue that fans have is that the player versus environment mode for Tarkov is exclusive to those who buy the new edition. This is despite the fact that anyone who purchased the old Edge of Darkness edition was promised all future DLC content as part of the season pass, which you would think would include this new mode. So this is false advertising? Is that what they're coming after Tarkov for? Because they're saying that you get all future DLC with this, and now they're not giving you all future DLC? A lot of fans who have the Edge of Darkness edition are rightfully very annoyed they now have to upgrade from EOD, which costs $100, in order to play it. However, some posts on the official Discord have tried to explain why BSG thinks this is not DLC. Please don't tell me they're trying to fight their battle. Well, actually, they push up their glasses. It's not DLC by the technical terminology. That's not the correct nomenclature. This is a new single-player experience, thus they did not circumvent any laws. Not only that, there's a clip from Landmark channel of them changing the wording on their website live to hide what they did. I'll check that out. It's from Landmark. It ain't DLC, it's unique feature of the new edition added, said Discord user Applezor, who is the lead community manager at Battlestate Games for Escape from Tarkov. DLC means additional downloadable content. PvE is a feature and a game mode. Just because you all want it to become a DLC, it wouldn't mean it is one. It's featured game mode for the new edition of the game. Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town? What? What kind of weak-ass argument is that? Huh? That's a lot worse than I thought that was going to be. The other major issues that fans have been complaining about is the big in-game bonuses players with the new edition will get. While other editions of the game give some bonuses, so far none have been major factors when on the map and fighting with other players. The closest is extra loot that they get at the start of a wipe. However, this new edition includes more space to store loot when on the map, improved skills at the start of a wipe, and a bonus where AI scavs will not shoot at them if they have over 6 reputation levels with fence. So that's what the pay-to-win article was about then, which is an entirely separate issue. These, along with some other bonuses, have led to the edition being labeled pay-to-win, with players who buy it expected to have a big advantage over those who do not. The reaction to the new edition has been so negative that all but 3 channels in the official Escape from Tarkov Discord have been silenced, with users not able to post in them. Moderators on the game's subreddit are also waiving the rule that prevents multiple posts about the same topic, saying they are just as livid about this situation as you. You know things are reaching like deep DEFCON levels if even the subreddit mods are like, nope, we're mad about this as well. That's when you know you have truly fucked up. Battlestate Games did not respond to my request for comment. Battlestate Games is yet to officially comment on the backlash, with pressure mounting from fans and some even looking into legal action. You would expect them to do it so sooner rather than later. The move also comes at a very bad time given that Gray Zone Warfare, a game many see as a competitor to Tarkov, has just wrapped up its first public streamer test, which has gone incredibly well with fans. With public sentiment towards Tarkov very low, many fans are hoping they can get their hands on Gray Zone Warfare sooner rather than later. Here's an update at 8:15. The official Escape from Tarkov account has posted a statement that seems to suggest Battlestate Game has no plans to make the new mode available to anyone who does not buy the new edition. Hey guys, listen, we heard the outrage. Fuck you. PvE mode is a unique feature which is available only for owners of the Unheard Edition. We will keep you updated on new features exclusive for EOD owners. And then they even got community noted. New game modes are generally accepted as DLC if put behind a paywall. Battlestate sold EOD with the promise that they would receive free access to all subsequent DLCs. So they're even getting their ham steamed by fucking Twitter community notes. Not only that, there is a radio you can call in friends mid-raid to help you as a PMC, which has never been a feature. It sounds very strong. You're still gonna buy it, right? Brother, I don't play Tarkov. And you would never catch me spending $250 for a fucking DLC. I don't even buy DLC when it's like $5. You think I'm gonna drop 250 clams on this? Who do you think you are? I am. Or I'm not. I would not do that. That's craziness. Tarkov devs are also shitting on the competitor game on Twitter. That just means that they're kind of desperate. I imagine this is what you're talking about from his stream. They just changed what you get retroactively to avoid the folks calling them out. I've talked with ANPC, National Agency for Customer Protection again. The only way we can solve this is if we make formal complaints to BSG about this. If they are left unresolved for 30 days, we can proceed with the lawsuit, no problem. If they answer negatively, we can proceed. I suggest you all to do formal complaints as BSG. Make them have 1,000 lawsuits at once. This is available for Europe, the 30 days thing. Man, that severely underpaid social media guy for BSG is going to have the worst 30 days of his life. Meanwhile, all the big wigs are just going to be counting their money from the whales that won't be able to contain themselves, scratching at the neck and spending the $250. I've been playing Tarkov for like 8 years. This hurts, man. Yeah, I don't even play Tarkov, and this is pretty painful just to read. I don't know how they thought this would go over well. That's something that I just can't wrap my head around. Like, it's 2024. These companies hire tech-savvy people. They have social media experts. They have these fucking think tanks and focus groups, and yet somehow these kind of decisions still go through. There really must just be this epidemic of people that spend money no matter what and say nothing. Like, this has to somehow be profitable for them, because it happens too often. The big problem is them changing the promise. Oh, and that's not even the... I mean, that is a big problem, but to me the biggest problem is just like this outrageous price point that they thought was gonna work. Even if there was no broken promises, I still feel like most people would see $250 for some fucking DLC and scoff. Look at Star Wars Outlaws, for example. Granted, you get a lot more out of this for $250 than you do out of Star Wars Outlaws for $130, but even still, those prices are fucking insano style. And you want to know what else is laughable and pathetic? Their social media guy who's fighting for his life right now on Twitter. So, Escape from Tarkov is by far the biggest in the genre. However, there are a couple of competitors. And this lone warrior with access to BSG's Twitter, the company behind Escape from Tarkov, is doing his best to try and play hardball, fight fire with fire. But he didn't realize he was bringing piss to a poop fight and ended up covered in filth. He desperately tried to plant his feet here and make a public slapping display. There was another game that was taking advantage of all of the hoopla here, recognizing that Tarkov fumbled and that a lot of players were leaving, so they made an announcement saying like, hey, you guys are welcome in our game. And the BSG social media champion tried this little maneuver. Have a nice 20-minute adventure in the blatant plagiarist game, in and out. And then even got slapped by Twitter, community noted, saying, hey, it's not plagiarism. They need to prove that assets were taken from EFT. So even Twitter's making fun of BSG. Now let's start with the newest developments here. The biggest one by far is a supposed unreleased interview with BSG. I'm not going to get too specific about it because I don't know if I'm even allowed to really talk about it. I'm pretty sure I can't show it because, again, it is unreleased. But basically the interview went as bad as you could have possibly imagined. The interview opens with him saying that all of this is not a mistake. He's not forcing anyone to buy their game. So, suck it up, basically. And then another question that was asked point blank was, are you contemplating any solutions since this has been received so poorly? And he gave a single word response. No. So it doesn't seem like there's any signs of them changing their minds with this direction here. The whole interview was him just basically throwing everything into the shitter and saying, deal with it. $250, fork it over, is what it is. We're not changing this. And then, this one blew my mind. They did make a slight update to all of this, where instead of addressing the price problem or the lying about what EOD owners will get in the future or the shady, scummy attempt at hiding things on their website, instead of addressing any of the complaints, they instead doubled down on pay-to-win features. In response to all of this, everything that's been going on, they basically come out and say, like, hey guys, look, we've heard you. We see what's going on here. We're listening. So we're giving you more pay-to-win features. Mother of pearl, just look at this list. One of these is high-priority matchmaking. They're getting a priority queue for 6 months. It's not even the lifetime. Keep in mind, they're not giving you lifetime access to the Unheard Edition pay-to-win shit. It's a 6-month trial to try and get you hooked and hopefully get the whales to buy into the $250 down the line. Like, this is... Their solution to all of this shows just how out of touch and greedy they are. This is greed on a scale I don't think I've ever seen in the games industry before. This is making EA sweat. EA right now is taking notes. They're like, whoa, how are they doing this? Like, they're right now, they're trailblazing. Like, I feel terrible for EFT players. I never really got super deep into Tarkov. I've tried it a few times, but I'm just not big into the extraction genre, to be honest. But man, this must suck as a big fan of the game. This is so unacceptable. The best case scenario here is another game comes and does what EFT does better and isn't led by the greediest, stupidest fucking people in the industry. That's the best case scenario here, but who knows how long something like that will take. The dumb assholes at Battlestate Games have really done something shocking here. In an industry that is overcome with greed out the wazoo, somehow Battlestate Games just found a new low. That's impressive. Actually impressive. Anyway, though, wishing the best for the EFT community during this time, because, Jesus, that shit is awful. Yeah, so I just want to talk about this a little bit. That's it. See ya.
Lies.
Yeah, Peter! Woo-hoo-hoo! No one was applauding, then he threw his hands out. Come on, guys. Chief Competition Officer? What does that mean? What title is that?
He just issues company competitions. Three-legged race.
Winner gets a promotion! Whoever gives me the best blowjob gets moved up!
When did he walk on stage? Did he just appear?
No, he didn't walk.
It was
I think he was just on a video. He was reporting from the EA space station.
About 200 million game players in the world. We thought that was a lot. Now there are 2.6 billion and growing. We are all part of a global phenomenon.
2.6 billion what? Gamers.
I think he said game plays in an effort to not make us cringe by saying gamers or like gamer assassin gurus or something. I don't like being classified as a gameplay.
What does it even...
I don't know. We're all just gameplays living in his world. His virtual world.
This guy really screams gamer.
Well, everyone, it's great to be back near E3.
Did he just say near E3?
Yeah, he's not in it actually.
He's not. He wasn't allowed near the premises last time.
He stood outside promoting Titanfall. Hey guys, Titanfall, it's coming out soon.
Passing brochures. Welcome back. Why greet a soldier? Like, oh, you haven't died yet?
Congrats.
That's good for morale.
Your children are waiting for you.
Don't you want to see them again, John?
Personalized greetings.
It seems your mother recently had a heart attack. I'm sorry to hear that, Richard.
But she's still alive. Fight for her.
Make her proud.
One of the comments in the section there is so many soldiers. Yes.
Whoa! Look at these soldiers! There's so many of them!
No, I think that was a complaint, like, so many soldiers, ugh.
Oh. Ew. Not enough
Wasn't there more birthday cake?
I thought it was like somebody amazed by the amount of soldiers.
Station options and a deep progression system. And of course, super smooth gameplay that we've always delivered.
Always delivered, you'd made one
In the
game.
first game.
Our track record is 100% on super smooth gameplay.
I looked away, what is this?
This
Still
is
the
the
same thing.
How could you even look away? Your eyes weren't glued to the screen for Titanfall info?
Do the Titans talk in this game?
Yeah, so.
So they're like Transformers?
No, it's just like freezing every now and then. And now the quality just took a massive shit.
Oh no.
I'm not going to be able to see the super smooth high definition gameplay and the crisp 1080p it was meant to be displayed in.
Really took us by surprise.
Let's just combine Titanfall with this.
Yeah.
It would make a fun game, just Titan football.
Touchdown fall.
If Rocket League worked, then that would too.
Why did I even bother showing my fucking team in the NFL advertisements? No one gives a fuck about the Buccaneers. That's just insulting. Why haven't they just removed them from the NFL games? This man's like a Star Trek villain.
Yeah.
He does. Can you see his nipples?
Yeah! They're like fucking knives! The whole shirt contours around them.
Yeah.
By
It's
design.
the first time I've ever seen a man's nipples through his shirt.
I thought you were gonna in the sentence after man's nipples.
No, I've seen those.
He makes it seem like it's something all of us know, but I've never heard of NFL Madden competitions in my life.
He's the competition expert.
Yeah.
Competition organizer person thing. Of course he knows about it.
He knows about every competition in the world.
Is this actually his job?
I think this is genuinely his job. He just comes up with competitions for these games. What would that? When this man gets fired from EA, what is he gonna put on his fucking resume? Competition officer? No one's gonna want that. Hey guys, look, I'll work for this restaurant. We can set up competitions and shit. I'm really good at that.
I mean, he's just gonna go work for another company as chief. I don't even know. Credits, proofreader.
Chief spell checker. Subtitles.
Looked like they were in a basement then.
They can't afford a big stage. It's just Peter Moore's basement.
Yeah. The chief competition basement.
I bet he goes into bars and like tells women he plays football.
Definitely.
I'm a football player. I play all the positions. I even coach too. Oh, here's Peter Morgan, just coming off a fresh huff from his oxygen tank.
There is a video within a video.
I'm so confused. Where are they? Are they at Los Angeles at the moment?
I think so. I think Peter Moore's just like walking between worlds, right?
His eye wrinkles make him look like he's wearing goggles.
I can see the outline. Yeah, he looks like Dr. Vortex from Crash Bandicoot.
Holy shit, yes.
Hi, I'm young like all of you. I can relate. I love Madden. Wow, that got me hyped. I loved watching people work on the game. Now that I know real humans. Yeah, now that I know real humans were behind the development of this one, I'll have to buy it. Is that man wearing boot cleats? Look at his shoes next time it zooms out.
He's a real cowboy. He's the chief cowboy. No, they're just talking about the fucking DLC for Star Wars Battlefront.
Sounds good to me. That's why I came here, to learn about DLC for games I don't own. He's like he looks like fucking Splinter from the new TMNT movie.
Little. His nipples are still hard.
They're perpetually hard. That's his secret. That's why they love him so much. His
Does he just keep going off stage to just touch his nipples and come back?
Well, that and get some oxygen. This man's being artificially kept alive to be EA's puppet. Fuck you, Peter.
But you will. My name is Alex Hunter, and just like you,
What is happening? Is this in real life?
I think it's in real life.
Yeah. For a second I thought this looks really good actually.
Yeah, so did I. I was like, wow, this one is not shit.
I can't see his nipples though.
Yeah,
It's
that's
distracting now.
yeah, that's why he didn't get the big applause Peter gets.
Is this like some famous soccer player that we don't know?
I think it's just an actor they hired to pretend to be a soccer player. You don't know me, but you will if you look me up on IMDb.
Yes, I am Messi and Ronaldinho. Oh wait, someone commented, "Oh Pele." Is this Pele?
No.
Oh no, it's not. Apparently, Yuka's dead.
They brought him back from the dead. EA's got the technology.
So, he's not dead, man, but he's 75.
He might as well be.
Almost dead.
So this could still be him. Maybe.
This isn't gonna get the FIFA fans that excited.
Yeah, it is, Charlie.
How? It'd be like, oh, I gotta get FIFA 17 for Hunter.
They only added 3 coaches.
The rest is DLC. You want this guy to yell at you? You have to buy him.
If you want Alex Hunter's brother as a playable character, $20 please. Who's this guy creeping on stage?
He's just lost. He's like, is this the Microsoft press conference?
It's like his boss, your time's up. It looks so threatening. It looks like some character from James Bond, like Spectre.
Yeah, Spectre.
Doesn't even take his hand out of his pocket. Look at him.
Yeah, he's too cool for this.
Holy shit, he has big balls.
Does he even have hard nipples, though? He's just like insulting this coach to his face. Why is this promoting the game in any way?
I can wake up 3-4 o'clock.
This guy is so unenthusiastic. Yeah, my son plays games, yeah. Yeah. He just doesn't go to sleep, he plays video games all night. What a great promoter.
Yep. It sounds like he's against video games.
Yeah. I assholes, just let me sleep. His name's spelled without a Y, though. I don't like it.
No, it's not. It's Aaron McHardy. There's a Y at the end.
I mean Aaron. It's
Oh.
not Aaron.
Yeah, no. Everyone knows the more Y's you have in the name, the more quality you can deliver.
Oh, that's why I have one. I think that was my choice.
Fuck yeah, another movie promotional. When's this one coming to theaters? Oh, it's Alex Hunter again. It's his sequel.
They had to put it on his chest to really just fool people. We're 60 years old, but we're all gamers. Only thing is like missing his controller hung around his neck. Like, yeah, I'm a gamer. So in short, he just is not a gamer.
Damn it, that shirt fooled me. Okay, I'm gonna take a FIFA 17 journey to the toilet and take a nice Madden real quick. I'll be right back.
Will help you reach new parts of the forest and take you ever closer to discovering this.
Looks kind of like Journey.
He sounds like Nightcrawler from X-Men. And now Peter Moore for the competition officer, talking about Star Wars Madden Edition.
I've never even heard of Galaxy of Heroes.
Yeah, what the fuck is Galaxy of Heroes? Hold on, I'm looking it up.
Titanfall
Why
2.
did they push in that indie guy just in between all of those AAA games? So was he just supposed to talk while they sweep the stage?
Well, Peter Moore had a heart attack, so they had to cancel his segment.
I guess, he wanted to caress his nipples for a little bit longer.
Peter's nipples aren't hard yet! Put Fee up there, quick! Is it code red?
In reality, all the indie games are just intermissions for Moore to fondle himself. EA doesn't give a shit. They commission entire indie games just so he can have some more time to caress his chest.
You're giving EA far too much credit. They would not let Peter fondle them himself. They would have people directed, like their position is to fondle his nipples for him. Stig Asmussen? Holy shit!
I'll be honest, I don't think every single employee at EA gets 4 monitors either. I think that's a ruse.
I wonder how many monitors this guy, the real gamer, gets.
It's probably more close to like 4 people share 1 monitor.
Probably.
That's it?
What do you want, Charlie? It's really hard to please you. I mean, it's almost like you don't like EA.
I just don't like any of these games. They're so boring. He just crawled out of bed. This is Mr. EA himself, Patrick Bach. Yeah, he really does.
Just some camera guy.
Quick! Peter's nipple's still on hard. Send somebody out there, but we don't have anyone else. Get the camera guy! Put a mic on him!
Just stalling. You really want to enhance your experience with all these games that pioneering. Buzzword. More. Help!
Open world narrative with single player Alex Hunt the Journey 17 FIFA.
What does the shirt say? Mike Tyson?
Oh, it's Mike Tyson? Which one is it?
I don't
It's
know.
not Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson has a fucked up face with the tattoo.
Yeah, no, that's Jamie Foxx. His shirt says like on Mike Tyson. What does that mean? This guy looks so depressed and so hollow. They've kept him locked in a dungeon for 3 weeks, just preparing him for this press conference.
Looks like it's coming out of a mountain.
Yeah, out of a tunnel.
Why is it carrying a school bus?
Wait,
look at those sad blimps in the sky. Did you see that? They actually drew frowns on them.
Like flaccid dicks.
They look like sad sky whales.
Yeah.
I'm going home to forget that I exist. Are they showing the exact same thing?
At this point, they just even pretend anymore. This is straight up hypnosis. Just brainwashing now. Just repeat the trailer 50 times, guys. Loop it.
That'll get them hyped up. I don't know, maybe there's like something at the end, like a soccer minigame. Shout out to FIFA.
Just Alex Hunter in a battleship.
His journey took him way beyond the football stadium.
Hindenburg was an inside job, was one of the comments. He must have like piercings or something. What would make your nipples just stand out and droop that hard?
I have no idea. I mean, constant stimulation. Like, they probably put ice cubes on him and shit. He's probably like a nipple model or something.
He wasn't even on stage. What?
Well, now he is. He's preventing everyone from playing the game just to be a dick. If you want to play Battlefield 1, you're going to have to come up here and fight me individually. I can't wait to rush the FIFA 17 monitor. That was... Hi, I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited for FIFA 17 now.
Play to live? What kind of a motto is that?
Subliminal messaging.
Peter Buck knows. Or Patrick, whatever.
They're trying to get new cameramen.